All right, what's up, everybody? I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, type in the chat. What's up? It's your girl K Johnson, the Self Care She Wrote. Self Care She Wrote. It is Tuesday evening in Nashville, around 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time Zone. So I was recently scheduled to do a heart healthy relationships workshop tonight. However, something has went wrong with the scheduling, so I decided to go live and still carry out this workshop tonight, or this talk, this time with you. Okay. So unless God sent you, I'm unavailable. God is dope. Yes, I love a good message on a t-shirt. Y'all know that already. Drop in the comments, say unless God sent you, I am unavailable. Unless God sent you, I am unavailable. Tonight's topic is net worth prosperity. Net worth prosperity. So let's get into it. Y'all know I like to share my screen when I do these types of things. So let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to first look up net worth definition. Yes, net worth definition on accountingtools.com. So we see that net worth is associated as an accounting term. What is net worth? Net worth is the difference between the assets and liabilities of a person or business. The concept is defined somewhat differently depending upon whether the term applies to a business or an individual. The definitions are noted below. For a business, assets, cash, all those types of things. For an individual, cash in the bank, personal investments, such and such, such and such. So what we really want to pull out is that it is a difference between the assets and liabilities of a person. Okay. The difference between the assets and liabilities of a person. All right. Now that we have gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and share my screen on today's presentation. Oh no, let's go ahead and go to today's presentation. Net worth prosperity, relational wellness from a self-care perspective. I'm so excited, y'all, to talk about this because if you know me, if you know a little bit of something about me, you know that I take relationships very serious. There has been trauma in my relationships. I talk about the relationship with my father and growing up and how we've gotten better. I talk about the relationship with myself, my inner self, the outer self, the world, purpose, all of those things. And so let's get into it. First, you want to understand that we have to navigate net worth strategy. So first of all, I'm Kay Johnson. I am the founder, owner, CEO of Inspired Bosses. We are accepting speaking clients in our speaking practice. We are accepting coaching clients for confidence. If you're looking for a new job, if you're looking for a certain position, I was recently a finalist in the top 5 for Miss Tennessee with the Miss America organization. So all of these things that I can speak to, I've done bikini bodybuilding. I've been to LA and I've done some modeling there. I've done so much that I really want to just continue to invest consistently in the people that are listening to me. So if you are looking for a confidence coach, I am your shero. All right, net worth strategies. First, we want to talk about invest consistently. How many of you all know that consistency is key? I know everybody already knows that consistency is key. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. So our first 3 things that we want to talk about today is invest consistently, develop accountability, and show up as yourself. As I think about how I've invested in myself consistently, investing in yourself consistently creates momentum, creates movement, and creates magic for you. Y'all write that down. It creates movement, momentum, and magic. You want to invest consistently because it creates movement, momentum, and magic. Movement is, I learned this from one of my coaches. Ashley Kirkwood. She says that movement is where the money is. Okay, movement is where the money is. When you are moving, you're going to get to something. I'm not just saying carelessly moving. I'm not saying just out here all willy-nilly throwing your hands everywhere and everything. That's why it's called a network strategy. But once you're at a certain level, if you're out of college, if you're in the business world, if you're in the corporate structure, you understand that there are strategies that do hold some weight, that do give us the advancement that we're looking for. So when we think about movement, is where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Where are you now? Where have you been? Are you standing on that experience? Are you standing on that knowledge? Are you standing on that confidence that you have built within yourself? Investing consistently. Momentum, when you already got something going in a certain direction, it is very hard to have that thing be slowed down. It's very hard to have something come in front of it. It's going to take something really, for lack of a better term, really ginormous, gigantic to slow the momentum down, depending on how long you built that momentum behind it. Here's a negative way to look at it. If you built momentum around your man cheating or your woman cheating on you, if you built momentum around this thought, there is only going to be one. I'm not going to say, I don't guarantee this, but one of the possibilities of that thought is that it's going to happen because there's so much momentum built behind it. Okay, so on the bright side of things, when you're building momentum in your net worth, when you're thinking about assets, liabilities, when you think about the movement where you are, where you want to go, you want to invest in consistently in those areas so that you can build momentum in those departments. Some things are going to take favor. Other things are going to take you knowing how to speak the language of those that you are around. That creates magic. As a Miss Tennessee top 5 finalist, I had to figure out the language of the organization in order to be able to even hold a seat and hold a place on that platform. All right, let's talk about develop accountability. Over the years, as I've developed this company, I've learned that accountability is going to be my best friend. Accountability is going to come in the forms of resting when you need to. Accountability is going to be coming in the form of communicating, and not only just communicating, but taking into consideration what people are saying to you, even if you don't believe everything that they're saying about you is 100% true. You still want to take a look at it. You want to develop accountability in your communication. And you want to develop accountability partners. You want to talk to people that are not just going to praise you, but also going to say, hey, did you look at this? Did you think about this? Are you sure about this? Here's another perspective, because when you have network strategies like this, there is only one way up, okay? And that's up to success, because period. We're not going to be here long. We're going to get through this because we already know what we want to do in life. And we know that once we put these 3 strategies into step, who's going to step to us? You know what I'm saying? And number 3, show up as yourself. When I was bodybuilding, when I was cheerleading, when I was playing basketball, when I was in LA modeling, when I was in the acting class, when I was at Miss Tennessee, when I was in Miss Crimson and Cream, every stage, every place, when I was in ATL doing a speaking engagement, every stage and every place calls for me to show up as myself. I believe wholeheartedly that because I showed up as myself, I was able to have that success behind that movement and that momentum. Y'all ain't hear me. Because I showed up as myself, okay, I was able to have that success behind that movement and that momentum, okay, because I was always investing in me consistently. And let's talk about it. When you invest in yourself consistently, your level of investing, of who you're investing yourself to be around, is going to change. So as you invest consistently, as you invest, your trajectory is going to change. Your trajectory, your relationships are going to change from that, because you are changing the way that you think, changing the way that you talk. So let's talk about prosperity. The definition of prosperity on Oxford Learner's Dictionary says that the state of being successful, especially in money making. Okay. Well, first of all, we don't make money. We just attract it. What makes money is the mint. The mint makes money. I don't make money. I can generate an income. So prosperity is really talking about your money life. And so when you think about prosperity and the resources or the things that are attached to prosperity, what is attached to prosperity? Energy is attached to prosperity. Time is attached to prosperity. Focus is attached to prosperity. And believe it or not, rest is attached to prosperity. Please write this down. These are the things that are attached to prosperity. You don't want to miss that, okay? These are the things that are attached to prosperity. I'm gonna take my face off the screen. So next, so energy. Energy is what you give off, the vibes you give off. Do you give off that you're irritated? Did you give off that you're nonchalant, charismatic, friendly, pushover? What energy are you giving off that may be keeping you away from your prosperity? What are you putting your time into, or what are you not putting your time into? You really want to dissect this because time is such a commodity. It's such a commodity that it's an invaluable commodity, meaning that nobody can give us time back. Nobody can return time to us. People that are spiritual, that are Christian, I hear say God will restore the time. And I just believe that means that God will restore the time with you having a different perspective about being present with the time that you have now and the time that you have left. So we really got to be protective of our energy, protective of our time, and next, protective of our focus, but be pinpointed with our focus. Where is our focus? Because wherever focus goes, focus grows, focus glows. And so I have a glow moment right now. I just received an email back from a company that I'm excited to partner with. And I sent them an email maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and it landed in their spam folder. They just reached back out to me, and they're like, oh, it landed in that spam folder. So I've been, of course, with Miss Tennessee, I've been selling ads and showing up as a candidate, serving my community. It's been so much. It's been such a whirlwind that when I got that email, especially like where I'm at right now, because people are asking me what's next, people are approaching me like, hey, are you going to do this, do that? It is so good to see something, the fruits of my labor from like 3 or 4 months ago. And here's the thing, when you know that movement means that you're going to get to some magic, you have to know that no matter how many times those people say no, there are going to be people that are for you that say yes. And so I'm excited to be entering maybe a negotiation deal with them at some point. And so I'm super excited. I want to share that because my focus was I need to be selling. I need to be sharing. I need to be stepping up. I need to be standing on the confidence that I have so that my prosperity can increase, that my net worth, my network can increase as well. And so then rest is so essential. Rest is so essential that if you do not, there's this new movie called Awake. It literally is a movie about how because you get no sleep, this is what happens to your brain, your body, and the world and people. And people start to act so delirious. You start to go through brain fog and hallucinations, and all these different things happen because you have not had any sleep. So on the flip side, we know that sleep is so important and so vital to our prosperity that we must protect the ways that we rest, when we rest, who we rest with, all those things. We can pick up energy from everything. Rest from texting, rest from eating so many toxic foods, rest from the laptop and technology, rest from having tough conversations, rest from having tough emotions, rest from work, rest from your kids, rest from all of these things, because at the end of the day, it is you that have to keep going and have to keep living and deal with the consequences of your choices, whether they be healthy or unhealthy. And so now I want to talk about consequences of your choices. So I was riding my bike. I have this new self-care toy that I'm really, really super excited about. I have this new self-care toy, and I've been riding my bike because, I was walking and exercising and doing it that way, but someone loves me so much that they're like, here, this is a new self-care investment. And so I have a bike now, and riding these streets, I get to take a break throughout my day, and I just go ride. And I just go be one with nature. I just go get my breath going. I just go relax. And in this one particular time I was riding with someone, I had a companion, and we were coming up down the hill and going up one, but we were going down. So this is a story about momentum too, and thinking about thoughts. So your thoughts so just think about me on this bike. I was riding down this hill. Literally have a video, but I don't have it pulled up. But I was riding and I had great momentum. I had great movement. Magic was happening. And then I was going down the hill and it came around where I needed to turn to the right. And so I was going. May I remind you, or may I tell you that when I was younger, I had a head injury because I flipped off a bike. I was racing my cousins, 2 boys. I was racing my oldest cousin, and we were going down a rock pavement driveway in the country of Tennessee. And I was going as fast as I could. I don't know how old I was, maybe between the ages of 9 and 12. I was going as fast as I could. And I remember flipping off my bike and my head being busted open. I had to be rushed to the emergency room and I had to get stitches and all these things. And at the end of it, I still remember as I was dazing out, I was like, I still won. I'm so hardcore, y'all. I was like, I still won. So back to me being on my bike now, present, like now that I'm this age and I'm in Nashville. I was riding, coming around the curve, going right. And I was making movement and making magic, and I had great momentum. Within that momentum, at some point, I had a triggering thought of me hurting myself back then. And what happened to me during my momentum as I was going around the circle, I ran off into the grass. I didn't hurt myself, but I ran off into the grass. And the person that was riding me was like, what happened? You like, everything was going great. Like, what happened? And I literally said, it was my thoughts. And so when we think about our mind's momentum and where we're going, sometimes we have great momentum, great movement, great magic happening, but our own thoughts will detour us. And so sometimes our minds take us exactly where we're meant to go, but did not desire to end up. I did not desire to end up in the grass. My desire was to keep pedaling and to keep moving up the hill as I turned the curve. But where I ended up was in the grass because my thoughts had took me to a place, but it's exactly where I needed to be because I wouldn't have been able to share this story with you without that experience. And I also would not have been able to connect the dots on sometimes how my life goes. Sometimes we have thinking patterns that keep us in a certain cycle, phase, season, system, process, and we don't understand why we keep experiencing these things. And so I always say that things happen spiritually first and then happen naturally, like reality is catching up. And so there is no exclusion. When you try to stop doing something, like there's no exclusion, there's only inclusion. I'm learning this daily. And so now when we think about prosperity, the bike story, movement, momentum, and magic, you think about your values. I want us to transition to values. So now I want to know the definition of relationships. Okay, it says relationships from the Britannica dictionary.com. Britannica.com says that the way in which 2 or more people, groups, countries, etc. talk to, behave toward, and deal with each other. It can also be a romantic or sexual friendship between 2 people. Or in 3, the way in which 2 or more people or things are connected. And so when we think about relationships, we think about values. How are your values connected to your prosperity? How are your values connected to your relationships? Everything is connected. If we think about just the definition of relationships. So our values have a relationship to why our mindset is the way it is. Our mindset has a relationship and a connection to our prosperity. And so now let's think about these things all together. What I want us to do here, this is a perfect moment for me to let's insert a self-care inspired affirmation. Our affirmation for today is my movement is magical. My relationships are healthy. We're gonna keep it basic, just general. Just we're not gonna get too deep. And then the last one is prosperity is a part of me, which is infinite. Okay, you are definitely infinite. So affirm yourself. And if you're taking notes, I know I talked about a lot of different things really fast. But affirmations increase our prosperity, increase our relationship, increase our minds, because sometimes we are saying things to ourselves that cause us to end up in the grass, such as I did when I was on the bike. Sometimes we say things to other people that have us end up in the grass when that's not what we desire to be, right? So we want to keep count of all of those types of things that happen. Remember, we're talking about net worth prosperity. Like, that's it. Okay, so now I want to transition to a lesson I just recently learned from Myron Golden, and he talked about several different animals in the Bible. The honey badger, the ant, and he talked about the spider. But I want to focus on the spider since we're talking about healthy relationships. And if you're in business, this can go so many ways. That's why I'm being really quick, because we can dissect it into personal, social relationships. We can dissect into business relationships, contracts, personal. All these types of different categories can happen. But one thing I want us to take away is two words: optimize and transition. We have to always figure out ways to optimize our relationships. We have to optimize the relationship with ourselves. We have to optimize the relationship, our outer relationship. So I believe that relationships that we have are a direct reflection of three places: where you've been, where you are now, and where you're going. That's just what I believe. And so when you think about optimizing your outer relationships, those relationships should be beneficial. They also should have contrast, because without contrast, we're not able to evolve in our understanding, our language, our capacity, our magic. And so we always want to be optimizing every level that we come. So the friends you had maybe in middle school, elementary school, are not the same friends you have in business, because you have elevated, you have evolved. And not to say that any relationships that you left behind are worthless or whatever, but the contrast that they brought, the connection that they brought, was purposeful at that time, and it still serves purpose because you can stand on an experience. But when we talk about the spider, really quick, we were in the Bible. Myron was saying that the Bible was talking about how the spider is so smart that it capitalizes off of everything. So I think about my own house right now, and I got to do some outside work. So in my deck, I have new wood that just got finished like a few months ago, and so I have like spider webs everywhere. And I instantly think about how the spider is literally capitalizing off of what already has been built by me. And so when you think about capitalizing in business or in life, period, you want to think about, how does this, me being in this relationship, or how, if I make this move, if I may go with this momentum, how do I optimize? How do I capitalize with this? Not off of this in a negative, unhealthy way, but with this opportunity, how do I capitalize it? Spiders literally build their webs in something that's already been built, and they eat and catch their food, and they stay there, sleep and rest, and get all the good loving that they need by capitalizing off of what's already been built. Ways that we can do that. Relationships are so important. Like, if you have travel buddies, if you have a friend that's in travel, if you have a friend that's in the office, if you have a friend that's a nurse, a doctor, we do this. We do this all the time. This is not anything new, but maybe you need to refresh the way that you think about relationships that you already have. And always, the next point, prepare for transition. No matter what, we all have to transition. You can use that word as a eternal term, meaning like we transition from life in this body to back into the heavens or the universe, or however you want to, define that. But what I mean is, know that relationships sometimes come with an expiration date, a not yet date, a not right now date. We can't fool with each other right now. We need to take a step back type of thing. Like, there's always transitions. And so one of the things that I learned from myself that I have not fully mastered how to handle emotionally the relationship transitions. Like when someone dies, when someone doesn't live up to an expectation that I maybe communicated or did not communicate, like how I handle those emotionally and mentally. And those two things are working together. So we have to know that sometimes when we put into people, they may not be able to put back out to, or reciprocate back to us. And so sometimes you may be putting in less and getting more from people, or maybe you think you're putting in less and getting more, but you're putting the same amount and you're getting your less is actually more because it's coming to you as such, because you're thinking, wow, this is great, this is a lot, this is so. And then there may be moments where you're pouring into a teaspoon size person and they can't pour into you because you're a pint size or you're a gallon size or you're ocean size. I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just thinking about capacity and transitioning with these relationships. So I want us to keep that in mind as we think about relational wellness and heart healthy relationships. Okay. And so here are my resources. And so now what I want you to do, we didn't get to go through our relational inventory. Our relational inventory is just this is something that you can do with me. We can do a consultation call or something, or however you want to do it. But a relationship inventory is basically you really having an honest conversation with yourself, putting people in your life in categories and then sorting them for where they are, where you want them to be, where they need to be, or where they're showing up as, and like not taking it as personal, but just understanding this is the placement and position of people in my life. All right, so this is what I want you to do before we go right now. Take action. Text, email, call, FaceTime one person or business that you would like to collaborate with. Why do we do this? Because we know that once we gain knowledge, the best way to see how successful and the best way to build movement and momentum and confidence in ourselves and our abilities, our capabilities, is to take action immediately. Implementation immediately. So right now, text, email, call, FaceTime one person or business you like to collaborate with. I don't know if that's a podcast that you want to be on. I don't know if that's a person that you just want to tell, oh my goodness, you're doing a great job, I would love to work with you in the future. I don't know if that's a person that's in your personal life, best friend, cousin, brother, auntie, sister, that you just haven't talked to in a couple weeks, or whatever went wrong, went right, whatever it is. Text or call somebody that you would like to collaborate with, whether that's just going out having drinks and getting better with your relationship, whatever it is. And the reason why I can say this so confidently is because I've done it today. I do it with my therapy sessions. I do it because I want to have clarity. Clarity is a premium. Clarity comes with a price. And if you want to have success, prosperity, and your net worth, your trajectory to increase, people talk about where they are, right? But what I learned is where they are, that's cool. But what is your trajectory, right? Your position is cool, but what is your trajectory? Because if your position is to be there and that's that's what it is for you always, then that's something I need to know and put in my mind, because my trajectory is up. My trajectory is going somewhere else, honey. And I'm not stopping right here. I play the infinite game, okay? So take action right now. I'm going to give you about 5 more seconds to do that. Trajectory is so important. I learned that from a coach. This position is fine. What happens when you think about trajectory, I'm going to explain this while y'all doing that action still. What happens is when you think about trajectory, it's like, okay, yes, I started with $0, but because I emailed 100 people, I text or called or whatever the case may be, 100 businesses, my trajectory is now gone from to right? Your trajectory changes. Your position could be $0. Your position could be no collaborative efforts. Your position could be beginner, entry, whatever the case may be. But what is your trajectory? And we know the trajectory based off the work that you do. If you want all these clients, all these things going on, that we have to think about being accountable, what the trajectory is, what your position is, and doing everything that in our energy, focus, relaxation, all those within our time to get the success that we want. And so that's how we have heart healthy relationships. So I am accepting new clients. You can contact me. You can go to inspirebosses.com. You can text me or call me at 731-300-6815. Leave me a voice message if I do not answer the phone. Or you can email me or my assistant at value@inspiredbosses.com to see what I have available for you, your company, your small business, your nonprofit organization, your board of educators, whatever it may be. I serve schools, businesses, and I serve people who are working in this world. I serve schools, businesses, people who are working. I'm a consultant for self-care in all of these spaces because we need it. It is now, and people say, I definitely got a vibe that'll get you on track. If you're an author, you want to make your business be what it really is for your passion, hit me up. I am accepting new clients. We can talk about rates, fees, and purpose and all of those things. But first, in my take action, quick action, and know that heart healthy relationships, that your net worth prosperity is connected to your net worth strategies. And your trajectory is definitely different from what your position is, as long as you invest consistently, develop accountability, and show up as yourself. Okay? All right, y'all. I'm so glad that we were able to talk today. Oh my goodness. Can I work for you? Let's talk about it later. Email me or send me a message, okay? Send me a message online because I am going to be looking for some interns and things like this. So send me a message. All right, I'm gone. Y'all have a good night. It was 31 minutes. I really ran over about a minute or so because I was just running my mouth. But I love y'all so much. It is Self-Care She Wrote, and your girl is L. Peace. Bye out.